Hi everyone, welcome to Junior Cycle Ordinary Level week 12. So we're going to be going through interpreting graphs today, and then we'll go through a couple of notes and then we're going to do some exam questions. Okay, so first of all, let's consider the graph of the f of x is equal to x squared minus 3x plus 2 as shown here. So first of all, the fact that it has an x squared means that it's going to be a quadratic. So I'm just going to write this above. So it's a quadratic. Now, the next thing we need to look at is to see, is the x squared positive or negative? And as you can see there, there's no sign in front of the x squared, so we assume that it's positive. If the x squared term is positive, the graph is going to be in a U shape. So if the x squared is positive, the graph makes a U shape. But if the x squared is negative, something like this, it actually makes an N shape. So think N for negative. So you should be able to tell just by looking at the function what shape it's going to be. So as you can see, it's x squared, so the x squared part is positive, which means that it's going to be in the shape of a U. And as you can see from the graph there, it actually is in the shape of a U. So a couple of things you could be asked here. If you were asked to solve, so if we wanted to solve the f of x equals 0, in other words, I want to find x values for when the f of x equals 0. So I'm just going to write that question in. So find the values of x when the f of x equals 0. So another way of writing the f of x equals 0 is y equals 0. So you need to go to the graph and check the points where y is 0. Now you'll find that y is 0 in two places, here and here. So at those points, x is 1 and x is 2. So the f of x equals 0 have corresponding values of x equals 1 and x equals 2. So that's a typical question you could get asked there. Say if we were asked to find the value of the f of x for the point x is equal to 3.5. So if you were told x is equal to 3.5 and you were asked to find the f of x. So remember, another way of writing f of x is y. So we want to find y when x is 3.5. So what we do is we go to the x-axis where it's 3.5 and it's marked in here where the red line is. You go up and see where it hits the graph and come across, and you'll see it corresponds to 4. So you can then write down that the f of x is 4 when x is 3.5. Another type of question again you could get asked is, so I'll just do this part over here. So to find the values of x when the f of x is 3. So another way of writing the f of x is 3 is y equals 3. So we want to get what the x values are when y is 3. So we go to the graph and see where, so remember this is the y-axis and this is the x-axis. So we want to find where y is 3. So y is 3 at this point here. So then you go across and see where it hits the curve, and you're going to come down and see where the green line is, and that's roughly minus 0.3. So one of the values is x is equal to minus 0.3. So this point here is minus 0.3. And then you can see it also hits the curve at this point here, and you come down onto the x-axis, and at this point it's roughly 3.3. So x is equal to 3.3. And the key is in the question there as well. It says find the values, which means you're looking for two values there, and you've two x values. X is equal to minus 0.3 and x is equal to 3.3. So we're going to do an example now based on what we're after doing there. Okay, so if we look at this example, consider the graphs. The f of x is equal to x squared minus 5x plus 4 in red. So this graph here is the f of x. And the g of x is equal to x minus 1 in green below. So the green line is the function, the g of x. What you were asked to do is solve the f of x equals the g of x. So when the f of x equals the g of x, what does that mean? It means what stage or what point on the graph does the f of x equal the g of x? So that means you're looking for the points of intersection. That's what you're looking for. Now, just looking back at these functions, if we look at the f of x, so the f of x is equal to x squared minus 5x plus 4. So we know because the x squared is positive, it's going to be a U shape, and you can see that it's in the shape of a U from the graph. And then the g of x is equal to x minus 1. That means that it's linear. So again, you're going to know what that looks like straight away. So if we just look at the graph, we can find the point of intersection. So where do the two functions intersect each other? So that's one point here, and the other point is here. So we can actually read these points off. So the first point here, so x is 1 and y is 0. So the first point there is x is 1 and y is 0. So if we were to write that out properly, it's going to be the point 1, 0. So that's one of them. And then the other one, the second point here, so if we come down, x is a value of 5 and y has a value of 4. So the other point is 5, 4. So to answer the question, the f of x equals the g of x at the points 1, 0 and 5, 4. So try and remember that if you get a question like that again, when the f of x equals the g of x, that's when they cross each other or intersect. I'm just going to write this above, so point of intersection. Okay, so we're going to do some exam questions now based on what we're after doing. So we're going to scroll down here. So this is 2014, paper 1. So the graph of the line y is equal to minus x plus 4 is shown below. So this graph here is shown below in the diagram. Using the same axis and scales, draw the graph of the line y is equal to x plus 2. So y is equal to x plus 2. So how would we do that? How do we find 2 points? So, well, first of all, we have the rule. So y is equal to x plus 2. Now, when we're given an equation like that and we don't have any points, the way we find our 2 points is to let x equal 0 and then let y equal 0, because it cuts the x and y axis at these points. So we're going to let x equal 0 first of all. So we're going to rewrite our equation. So y is equal to x plus 2. So instead of x, we're putting in 0. So y is equal to 0 plus 2. So y is equal to, so 0 plus 2 is 2. So now my point is, so x was 0 and y is 2. So that's my first point. So 0, 2. Now remember, in order to draw a line, we need 2 points. So now we need to get the other point. So this time I'm going to let y equal 0. I'm going to write out my equation again. So y is equal to x plus 2. So instead of putting in y, I'm putting in 0 this time. So 0 is equal to x plus 2. We're going to bring the number 2 over beside 0. So 0 minus 2 is equal to x. So x is equal to minus 2. So the point there is minus 2 and 0. So you have your 2 points. So let's plot them on the graph now. So the point 0, 2. So 0 on the x-axis is here and 2 on the y-axis is up here. So this is going to be your first point. Your next point then is minus 2, 0. So minus 2 on the x-axis is here and the point 0 is also there. So minus 2, 0. And I'm just going to mark these in on the diagram as well. This is the point 0, 2. And this is the point minus 2, 0. And what you do then is get your ruler and draw your line. Now, sorry, this isn't doing it very well because I'm drawing on a screen, but you get your line and you draw a straight line straight through the 2 points. Now, next, from the graphs, state the point of intersection of the 2 lines. So, where do they intersect? So I'm going to use a different colour here just to make sure that I'm doing this correctly. So the point of intersection is actually here. Now if we were to read off the point of intersection, come down and read what the point is on the x-axis, it's the point 1. And if we go up to the y-axis, it's 3. So the point there, the point of intersection, is the point 1, 3. So we'll just answer that now in the question. So from the graphs, state the point of intersection of the 2 lines. So the point of intersection is the point 1, 3. Now we're going to the next part of the question, or the last part should I say. Verify your answer using algebra. So verify your answer using algebra. So what we need to do is simultaneous equations here. In order to do simultaneous equations, we need the 2 equations of the lines. If we go back up, we have our first equation. So y is equal to x minus x plus 4. So we'll write that down. So y is equal to minus x plus 4. That's my first equation. And our second equation is here. Y is equal to x plus 2. So y is equal to x plus 2. Now, the idea with simultaneous equations is to get rid of either x or y. So the way we do that here, it actually works out for us because you have minus x and plus x, so you can actually cancel them out. So then you're left with, so y plus y gives you 2y is equal to 4 plus 2 is 6. So y is equal to 6 divided by 2, so y is 3. So you now have the point 3 for y. You now need to go back and get what x is. So I'm going to pick equation 1, but you can pick equation 2 either. So I should say y is equal to minus x plus 4. So I'm putting it in 3 now instead of y because that was one of my solutions here. So 3 is equal to minus x plus 4. So 3 minus 4 is equal to minus x. 3 take away 4 is minus 1. So minus 1 is equal to minus x. So we'll just write this the right way around. Minus x is equal to minus 1. So we want to get what x is. So in order to do that, we should change the sign all the way across. So x is equal to 1. So it's the point 1, 3, which is what we had up here. So that's verified. So that's straightforward enough, and you get a lot of these types of questions. So we'll go on to the next one now. So the next one I have is 2016, paper 1. Okay, so this is from 2016, it's paper 1. The graph of the function y is equal to the h of x is shown on the coordinate grid below. The graph is made up of 2 line segments. Use the graph to answer the following questions. Find the value of the h of 4. So another way of writing the h of 4 is the h of x. So you want to get what y is when x is 4. So you go to where x is 4, so it's here on the graph. You go with your ruler up as far as the line segment, see where it hits it, and come across on the y-axis. So y is 3. So the h of 4 is equal to 3. Now, what number must that smiley face represent if the h of the smiley face is 1? Now, this is another way of writing a function. So instead of writing the h of x or the h of the smiley face, we write y is 1. So we go to where y is 1 on the graph. So y is 1 at this point here. We come across and see where it hits the line and come down and read the corresponding x value here, and the x value of that is 2. So then it says use the graph above to fill in 2 missing values from the arrow diagram below, which shows the values of the h of x for the given values of x. So another way of writing the h of x is writing y. Okay, so when we have a value of 0, the corresponding y value is -1. When we have a value of 5 on the x-axis, so we'll just go up here, when we have a value of 5 on the x-axis, the corresponding value on the y-axis is 3.5, and that makes sense because that point there is 3.5. So when we have a value of 6 on the x-axis, what is the y-axis? So let's go to where 6 is on the x-axis. It's here. We're going to go up and see where it hits the line segment, and it hits it at the point 4. So y is 4 when x is 6. So we're going to write down that it's 4. Then we have a y value of 5, so we have to get the corresponding x value. So let's go to where y is 5. So y is 5 here. We're going to come across and see where it hits the line segment, and we're going to go down, and it's at the point 8 on the x-axis. So this value here is 8. So that's that question. Again, it's straightforward enough. Just make sure you look correctly at what the question is asking you, whether it's looking for x or y. So we're going to go on now to the next question. This is 2016 paper 1, and this time we're looking at question 13. So the graphs of the functions f of x and the h of x are shown on the coordinate grid on the right. The f of x is x plus 1, and the h of x is x squared minus 3x minus 1. Match the functions to the graphs by writing the f of x or the h of x in the box next to the corresponding graph. So let's look at the f of x first of all. So the f of x is x plus 1. Now you should know that that's in linear form. So usually if it's linear, it comes in the form y is equal to ax plus b, where you have a number attached to an x and a constant as well. So another way of writing x is 1x plus 1. So the f of x is the line. So this is actually the f of x here. Now, if we were to look at the h of x, first of all, the fact that there's an x squared term means that it's going to be a curve, it's a quadratic. And also the fact that the x squared term is positive means that it's going to be in a U shape, and it shows yes on the graph it is in a U shape. So that means that the curve is the h of x. So part B, for one of your functions above, give a reason for your answer to part A. Now we're going to write out both reasons just so we have them for again in case it comes up. So the first one I'm going to look at is the f of x. So the f of x, now give a reason for your answer. So the f of x is equal to x plus 1 is in linear form. So is in linear form. And as I said, that's y is equal to ax plus b. Now, if you wanted to talk about the h of x, so h of x is equal to x squared minus 3x minus 1. So it has an x squared term, which means this is a quadratic, i.e. a curve. So either of those would be okay to answer there. So for part C, use the graphs to estimate the solution of the equation x plus 1 is equal to x squared minus 3x minus 1 between minus 1 and 4. Now that's written a funny way. So x plus 1 is equal to x squared minus 3x minus 1. What's another way of writing x plus 1? Well, that's our function, the f of x. And then x squared minus 3x minus 1 is the g of x. So at what point on the graph does the f of x equal the g of x? So we're looking for the point of intersection. So we need to go back up to the graph and see where they intersect each other. So they only intersect each other at one point, and this is the point here. Now, be careful because it asks you for the x value. So you come down and see what the x value is on the x-axis. And it's going to be roughly minus 0.45 or minus 0.5. So usually if you have it within a range, you'll get your marks there. So then finally for part D, work out the value of the h of 8. So the h of 8, so another way of writing is the h of x. So that means that x equals 8. And it says, remember that the h of x is equal to x squared minus 3x minus 1. So what that means is you're using the curve. Okay, so we'll go back up and see where x is 8. Now we can't actually use the graph because we don't have an x value for 8 that's drawn in there. We only go up to 4 on the graph. So the reason it said work out is because you have to work it out. So we're going to rewrite, so the h of x is equal to x squared minus 3x minus 1. And we know that x is equal to 8. So we want to get the corresponding y value. So we're going to rewrite it as y is equal to x squared minus 3x minus 1. So we know that x is 8. So instead of x, we're going to put in 8. So y is equal to 8 squared minus 3 by 8 minus 1. So then you get y is equal to 64. So 8 squared is 64 minus 3 by 8 is 24. Minus 1. So you put that into your calculator and you'll get a y value of 39. So the answer there, the h of 8 is equal to 39. And I think that's the final question yet on that particular year. So we'll go on. I think I have a couple more here. So we're going on to 2017 paper 1 now. Okay, so we're looking at 2017 paper 1. So the coordinate diagram below shows the graph of the function y is equal to the f of x. So you're given a diagram there and it's in the shape of a U. So for part 1, on the same axis, draw the graph of the line, the g of x is equal to x plus 3. So you're drawing this line here for the values minus 3 is less than x is less than 5. So you need your x values to go from minus 3 up to 5. Now, you can do this on the calculator or you can do it using a table. So I'm going to do it using a table. So my x values go from minus 3 to 5. So minus 3, minus 2, minus 1, 0, 1, 2, 3. I'll actually, do you know what? I'll do it over here just to make it a bit clearer. So your x values are minus 3, minus 2, minus 1, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Your rule is x plus 3, and then you're going to get your corresponding y values, and you're going to get your point. So, instead of x, I'm putting in minus 3. So minus 3 plus 3. That'll give me a value of 0. So my point there is minus 3, 0. My next point is minus 2 plus 3. Minus 2 plus 3 gives me 1. So my point there is minus 2 and 1. My next point, so instead of x I put in minus 1 plus 3. Minus 1 plus 3 gives me 2. So my point is minus 1 and 2. My next point is 0 plus 3. 0 plus 3 is 3. So the point there is 0 and 3. My next point is 1 plus 3. That gives me 4. So my point there is 1, 4. My next point is 2 plus 3. 2 plus 3 is 5. So my point is 2, 5. Then I have 3 plus 3. 3 plus 3 is 6. So my next point is 3, 6. I'm going to continue the rest up here. So my next point is 4, so 4 plus 3 is 7. So my next point is 4, 7. And my final point is 5 plus 3 That's 8, so my point is 5, 8. So now what I want to do is plot all of these points on the graph. So the point -3, 0 is going to go here. The point -2, 1 is going to go here. The point -1, 2 is going to go here. The point 0, 3 is going to go here. The point 1, 4 is going to go here. The point 2, 5 is going to go here. The point 3, 6 is here. The point 4, 7 is here. And finally, the point 5, 8 is up here. Now you get your ruler and you draw the best fit line that you can. Now again, this is a little bit wobbly because I'm using a tablet, but you always get your ruler and join up the points accordingly. So that's part 1. Now use the graphs to write down the points of intersection of f of x and g of x. So where do they intersect each other? So they intersect at this point and this point. So if we read those points, on the x-axis it's -1 and the y-axis it's 2. So -1, 2 is the first point. And then the second point of intersection, let's go back up to the graph. So let's read the x value. The x value is 5 and the y value is 8. So it's the point 5, 8. So another function, so go on to part B here, another function is the k of x is equal to x squared minus 2x minus 1. Find the k of 3. Okay, so the k of x is equal to x squared minus 2x minus 1. So the k of 3, instead of x I'm putting in 3. So that's going to be 3 squared minus 2 by 3 minus 1. 3 squared is 9. Minus 2 by 3 is minus 6 minus 1. 9 minus 6 is 3. 3 minus 1 is 2 for that part. So then we have to draw one more graph and then we're finished. So draw the graph of the function. The k of x is equal to x squared minus 2x minus 1 on the axis below for the values minus 2, less than x, less than 4. Okay, so I am going to just do a table here. So minus 2, minus 1, 0, 1, 2, 3, and 4. So that's my x value. My rule is x squared minus 2x minus 1, my y values, and my point. Okay, so minus 2 squared minus 2x minus 1, minus 1 squared minus 2 by minus 1 minus 1, 0 squared minus 2 by 0 minus 1, 1 squared minus 2 by 1 minus 1, 2 squared minus 2 by 2 minus 1, 3 squared minus 2 by 3 minus 1, and 4 squared minus 2 by 4 minus 1. So I have these points done out in my calculator here. So y is 7, so the point there is minus 2, 7. The next value here is y is 2, so it's minus 1, 2. The next one is minus 1. So minus 1, so it's 0, minus 1. The next point is minus 2, so it's 1, minus 2. The next point is minus 1, so it's 2, minus 1. 3, 2, so it's going to be 3, 2 there. And the final point then is 4 and 7. So I'm just going to plot these. Minus 2 and 7 is going to be here. Minus 1 and 2 is going to be here. 0 minus 1 is here. 1 and minus 2 is here. 2 and minus 1 is here. 3 and 2 is here. And finally 4 and 7 is here. So you're just going to get your pencil and join the curve as best you can. Now again, I'm writing on a tablet, so yours will be a lot better than mine. And that's it done. So that's the graph of the function done. And as you can see, the x squared term is positive, so you know it's going to be in a U shape. So I'd practice a couple of those questions, and I'm going to attach some extra links and videos based on this topic and I would suggest that you go to those links just for some extra material, and I will chat to you next week.